love Denver, bro. Hey, Barbershop Uncut, bro. Before we even get into this motherfucking interview, man, I got so much to motherfucking say, but before we get to the real juicy shit, man, Denver, bro. If y'all ever come to Denver, if you from LA, wherever the fuck you from, if y'all ever tap in with Denver, bro,
thank you so much.
Tap in with Barbershop Uncut, bro. They gonna get you right. They gonna treat you right, bro. Good people, bro. Inglewood vouch for them, bro. Y'all got my love for real, bro. Fuck with me.
Snap back, made it so you know I'm finna snap back, slap that. Fuck fake friends, we don't backtrack. 1-500 on a Y3 backpack. Make a bitch bust it wide open over Snapchat. Hashtag Inglewood, where the boat rats at? Kick through the door, Glock cock, where the racks at? Give me all the jury, nigga, tell me where them packs at. If he tryna ball, we gon' hit him like a halfback. Yeah, I don't need no new friends, I just really need new money and a brand new Benz. Work it at my brand new crib, walk into a brand new bitch. On my mama though, yeah. I just dropped 6 on the llama though, yeah. Lay 'em on bricks like a Navajo, yeah. Pull up to the crib like it's Domino's. Cash on delivery, I'm serious, I gotta go. Bitch, I ain't tripping off that guard. Really in these streets, why you sitting on that card? Slipping on your vibes, got you feeling all perturbed. Then I'm puffing on this herb, cause this pepper so superb. I'm a young nigga, who could run with them? They just do it for the fun, I do it for the funds, nigga. Hey, wait up, nigga, cut the hater, nigga. Know you lost, staying jealous like you playing for the Clippers. Might as well put the game on lock. Might as well leave the range on stock. Send that VRB the same OG, and you niggas be the same old boss. Fucking bozos, I'm thuggin' with my partners and them burners ain't no safety. Don't try your luck, boy, think twice before you play me. Man, these bitches out here bobbing and these niggas all fugazi. These bitches out here bobbing and these niggas all fugazi on my mind. Now I don't need no new friends, I just really need new money and a brand new Benz. Work it at my brand new crib, walk into a brand new bitch. On my mama though, yeah. I be with the shits with the drama though, yeah. I just want the chips with the commas though, yeah. And I take trips to Bahamas when I smoking marijuana on a private with pajamas on, yeah. I ain't fucking with you dorks. You ain't getting money if you sitting on that porch. And I'm breaking on your bottom, bitch, she finna run that course. I'm getting paid, no renegade, these hoes like endorsements. I'm mobbing with my rounds, sliding with that chopstick, you talking out your mouth. You popping off, we pop shit, I'm walking in that bitch. I'm flirting with my bank till she staring at my check. I let it on my bank, but since last time we met, I ain't been making no deposits. Investing all the money just to double up the profit. Stop it, why you talking dough if you ain't got it? And why you cupping her if she a thotty? I swear to God, these niggas just keep reaching, they better off sleeping cause he tweaking off Adderall. Better take a seat for I untuck this heat and delete your whole region. Now I don't need no new friends, I just really need new money and a brand new Benz. Work it at my brand new crib, walk into a brand new bitch. On my mama though, yeah. Now I don't need no new friends, I just really need new money and a brand new Benz. Work it at my brand new crib, walk into a brand new bitch. On my mama though, yeah. I ain't tripping off that guard. Tripping off. I ain't tripping off that guard. I ain't tripping off that guard. Tripping off. I ain't tripping off that guard. That's why you sitting on that card. Really in these streets, why you sitting on that card? Why you sitting on that card? Really in these streets, why you sitting on that card? Yeah. Now I don't need no new friends, I just really need new money and a brand new Benz. Work it at my brand new crib, walk into a brand new bitch. On my mama though, yeah. Now I don't need no new friends, I just really need new money and a brand new Benz. Work it at my brand new crib, walk into a brand new bitch. On my mama though, yeah.
Yeah, my boy, good looking, Mondo.
World star. Big gang, big blessings. The Lord is present, you know. We out here, Ivy Way, Ivy League, you know what I'm saying? We here.
Oh, there we go. Hey, we live. What's happening? Hey, what's up?
I can see you.
On this TV right here, yeah.
Oh, nice. Oh, I can see you too. Hi.
Once again, thank you for telling me, man.
Nah,
Appreciate
what,
you.
bro? After everything you've been doing for me, fuck that. I owe you a thank you. Oh, we have 4 thank yous. So all 4 of us.
Appreciate you, brother. For sure.
Love, man. Much love.
All you guys show mad love too. That's dope.
And we try to. That's just the Inglewood way. You know? You should know. Uncle,
I've never been there, so I don't know, but I'm getting a taste.
You never
of
been
it.
to LA?
I never been to California, bro.
Oh, bro, you tripping, bro.
Never.
You tripping, bro.
Never.
Women, weed, and weather, bro. I know you know about it. I know you heard about
I
it.
definitely heard about it.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. It's
Yeah,
beautiful. But see, you guys got weed too. Y'all weed solid. Everything that I've been smoking out here been low-key solid. So, you know, I fuck with it. Am I directing myself the attention to what camera?
This one right here is
That's
the main one.
All right. When are we at? We rolling now?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Live. I like this. I like it. It's authentic. Hey, it's cool. It's cool. Who's asking questions?
We kind of all do. It's like,
I love this, bro. I love this. This ain't like no.
Nah, we're just kidding.
This
bro.
ain't no like
Crazy.
yeah, fuck all that. That's tight.
Nothing crazy.
That's tight in the motherfucker.
I'm just getting it cleaned up for tonight. That's it.
Hey,
Make sure you're straight.
bro, last night, come on.
Man, I was
Fuck.
dying. I ain't gonna lie, I was hurting.
Dude, I was not expecting that, dude. I was not expecting that at all. But when I tell you I thoroughly enjoyed myself, thoroughly enjoyed myself, man. I done put my face in somebody's ass cheeks.
She's all, look at my baby.
Oh, God. My face is all between that random bitch ass cheeks. I'm like, damn.
That's the real one right
This
there.
is what's happening right now. And my wife recording the whole thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Wife
saying.
recording the whole
That's
thing.
the real one.
Hands to the side and all that.
I'm like,
I was like,
oh,
okay.
yeah, that's love, man. That was dope.
What's it like growing up in Inglewood, bro? Since I don't know nothing about out there.
Honestly, like, I mean, if you're not guilty by association, man, it's honestly real street life, man. It's a really beautiful city. It's in the process of going through a lot of gentrification right now, but prior to that, like, it's like any other city any other hood that you guys will have out here. You know what I mean? You got your gangbangers, you got your liquor stores, you got your, you know, you got your product, your product of your environment. Mom's kind of raised me like to stay away from that gang shit, so I never actually like was in like an official active gang member, but I was definitely guilty by association.
Right.
And it was hard for a lot of people in my neighborhood to not be guilty by association. You know what I mean? Just because of the school that we went to and the people that went to those schools and the people that we associated with. So growing up in Inglewood was very difficult. Very difficult, but if I had a chance to do it all over again, I'd do it all in the same place.
Yeah.
Well, that's what made you, right?
Facts.
So at what point do you know you want to do music?
Honestly, since I was a kid, man, I remember when I used to like take my favorite songs, like before I even started writing music, I used to like listen to my favorite songs, like Twister. Twister was one of my favorite artists, and it was really hard to say, like repeat his lyrics. So people like him and a lot of other people, I go home and write their lyrics down as I heard them, play their music over, and repeat it. And like just going through that whole process was just like, damn, like this is actually kind of tight. Like I can do this. So at that, I was probably like 11, 10, maybe even younger, maybe like 9, 10, 11, yeah. And at that point, I was just like, yeah, I think I could do this. I fell in love with it, and yeah, so.
Do you have any West Coast people you look up to?
Oh, hell,
like music,
yeah,
because
man.
Twister is from
Honestly,
where? Where's he from?
Nah,
Chicago,
yeah,
right?
but it was like I only used Twister as an example because it was his lyrics were complicated to understand. So he was definitely one of the ones that I remember doing that. But as far as like influential wise, like the West Coast is definitely like a lot of major my influences. DJ Quick, definitely one of my most major influences. Kendrick Lamar. I don't think it's a bad thing to say right now, considering, you know, we were both kind of coming up at the same time, but D Smoke, surprisingly, is a really dope influence for me because I actually know his story firsthand because before we were even on the show, he was my neighbor. So, he was my neighbor. So, it was like watching his story and watching him watching living next door to him and watching everything, his whole process to him now, like, damn, bro, that's a phenomenal story, bro, a phenomenal background, and honestly, one of the most inspirational stories that I've heard of 2019.
Was y'all both doing it at the same time, or were you just watching him, then you make the transition?
Well, see, this is the thing. I knew who he was after we ended up on the show. So he was my neighbor for about 4 years.
Okay.
And literally, like my next door neighbor, like I could look out my window and look in his backyard type shit. He was sharing a crib with like 2 other dudes. He was like roommating with shit like that. But you know, just him being my neighbor, I'd see him, man, you know, say what's up, but never interact too much. And we ended up going on the show, and at this point, this was probably like one of my last performances, and I ended up getting eliminated. And I'm in the hotel room packing up, and he ends up posting a picture of a van that used to be parked in front of my house all the time. And at that moment it clicked. I'm like, damn, bro, I know exactly. Neither one of us recognized it until he posted that picture. He was like, I knew you this whole time. I knew you this whole time. Like, it was fucking crazy.
Small ass
so,
fucking world.
But again, it was like, though we didn't interact that much, my window was literally right next to his backyard. And in his backyard, they all had a studio. So I hear everything. He was a phenomenal musician. They had a piano back there. He played the piano till like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes I'd be pissed because my dog is tripping because he playing the fucking piano at fucking 4 o'clock in the morning. But it didn't sound bad. It didn't sound bad. And
kind of put you to bed.
Yeah, sometimes it did. Sometimes it did. You know, and then, you know, him and Jay Pounds, they'd be cooking up back there. And I actually found myself sometimes writing to some of the beats that I heard them making at the time. And I'm like, damn, all right, yo, this is dope. And then come to find out that it was him along with another person doing that. I'm like, wow, bro, I've watched you. I know his whole story. Like, it was like a 2-bedroom house. So I know he was sleeping on the couch at the time. I know he didn't have a car. I know, like, his whole personal situation because I was actually cool with the roommates and not so much him. Because the roommates were living there far much longer than him. I was living on that street for like 20 years. The other dudes moved in probably about maybe 5 years before he moved in. So I was cool with the people that was already living there. And when he moved in, it was like, oh, you just somebody else that lived there. So I didn't really feel like it necessary like, to talk to him. But trust and believe. Like just spending 4 years of watching him, walking him out that house, wearing the same clothes and, you know, just not being de-smoked. We're not necessarily like wearing the same clothes. I ain't even trying to smut him like that because just watching him on his transition, it's phenomenal, man. He's a humble cat, bro. A very humble cat, very hard worker, bro. He's very musically oriented, very musically gifted, and as opposed to more than being a fan, I look at him like a peer. And being that you're somebody that was so close to me, and now I see where you are because of everything that you have been through, your musical background, you know, your Spanish speaker and all that, you definitely deserve everything that you got for him. So he's a real inspiration for me.
Have you guys linked up to start doing music or anything?
We haven't linked up on any music, but you know, we definitely converse about a lot of like, you know, just street stuff whenever we link up, whenever we see him, because he definitely still, you know, visits, you know, my neighbor, and that's where my mom and dad used to live. So if it's holidays or something over there, it's like Christmas or 4th of July, he may stop by, and I may be over at my parents' house, and you know, we'll communicate then. Maybe shoot a few DMs here and there, but not too much like that no more. He a little hype. He top dog right now. He top dog right now. He winning. He top dog right now.
How did so we heard from Jacob Campbell and Old Man Saxon about how they landed on the show. What's your story of how you landed on the
Living in Flow?
Yeah, Living in Flow.
That's actually a really long story, like an extensive story. So I'm gonna just like give you guys a shorter version. Basically, I ended up getting an email that I had no clue about. And it was saying that your audition video has been accepted, X, Y, and Z. And like I said, I didn't know anything about it. Was in debates on if I wanted to go. My wife and my daughter was kind of like, you know what, just go. Ended up going, and as I get there, I see one of my boys from high school who was like on the casting panel. And at that moment, it just clicked to me. Like, I'm like, bro, it was you. So I go do the auditions, they enjoyed it or whatever. And when I got back out, I hollered at him. I'm like, yo, like, how did I get here? He was like, bro, you was you was taking too long. I was telling you about it, but you was taking too long, so I just submitted it for you, bro. So big shout out to my boy L Bug, bro. I really, really appreciate you for the alley-oop. So that's how I ended up getting that.
All y'all got some crazy, unique, like whatever kind of stories that how it all happened. You know?
Yeah, most definitely.
That's
Most definitely. Most definitely.
What was the show like?
Oh, dude, when I tell you it's surreal, first of all, I got like a crazy love for T.I., bro. So I didn't even know, when I even went on an audition, I had no clue what I was even auditioning for. I didn't even know it was gonna be it was gonna be for Netflix. I didn't know nothing. So when I hit the show, it was like, wait a minute, T.I., Cardi B, Chance. I'm ecstatic. All of these people are like, you know, big names in the industry. But when it came to T.I., I was like, whoa. And just that, like I said, it's just like a phenomenal experience for me because I grew up a lot off of T.I. Like, trap music is one of my favorite albums. Urban Legend is to this day my favorite album. Stand Up, I could quote every song off them albums. You know what I mean? So just that idea was kind of surreal for me, and then just being on stage in front of them and actually getting the green light from them. Also, the Long Live Late Nipsey, you know what I mean? It's a great feeling, man. It's sometimes it's something that it's really hard to explain. It's hard to explain. You really have to like live that to actually form the words, the proper words to really get the the full gist of how I felt during that time. So yeah.
Hell yeah, the team was there. Everybody there had your back.
Oh yeah, everybody was aware. It was like, but the thing was like there was a confidentiality agreement, so I really couldn't tell people what I was really getting involved in, but my wife, she knew firsthand everything that was going on, and she was like, when I tell you, she was honestly like my backbone throughout that whole process. She was pregnant during the time, so I had left her for like damn near 2 months, and she was like at the ending stages of her pregnancy, so it was really, really difficult for me not being there while I was shooting, and somehow she managed to, make sure that I was good while I was away, and make sure that, herself as well as our 9-year-old daughter was good. So I salute her to the top, because without her, I honestly don't know where I'd be. I honestly wouldn't even went on the show if it wasn't for her. So shout out to her. Shout out to you, baby. I love you.
And here too.
You're really MVP. You got another baby too, huh?
Yes, I do, man. I got she's 6. She'll be 6 months. 6 months on the 10th of this month, actually. Her name is Braxton. Beautiful little brother. My baby. I'll show y'all some pictures later. She's adorable.
Have you stayed in the same area in Inglewood? Have you lived in the same neighborhood for the most part, or have you moved around the general city out there?
For the most part, I mean, Inglewood, the city, I've lived there all my life, all 28 years. Where I kind of got the name Inglewood IV, originally 10 IV, is from the street that I live mostly on, which is 2nd Ave. I spent 24 years there, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm a real Inglewood native. I spent most of my time there. Actually, all of my time there. I love Inglewood, man.
How old are you?
I'm 28.
28.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's your whole life.
That's my whole life. I've definitely been a little bit of traveling, but it's like, as they say, there's no place like home. You know what I mean? There's definitely no place like home.
I'm sorry. But as far as this music shit is concerned, like, as far as, your backbone, your crew right here, are you involved with a lot of little crew that you run with, or stuff, people like that you know?
It's funny that you asked that, man. Right now, I'm kind of just doing me right now. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to test the waters.
You gotta do that, man.
Yeah, sometimes you do gotta do that. It's like I got somebody that I'm interested in fucking with, but communication isn't where I like it to be, and I kind of just like I'm still testing the waters with that communication. You know what I mean? Seeing if it's gonna take me to where I want to go, but I don't think it's going to go to where I want to go, so I'm just probably going to pursue myself as just an independent artist, just by myself. You know what I mean? And I think that just may be the best decision for me, career-wise, and not necessarily just career-wise, but where I'm at right now. You know what I mean? Having a lot of other people have other inputs that don't necessarily coincide with yours is may not mesh well all the time. And I'm a person who believes that when you make decisions that made with feelings, they don't really heal.
Yeah.
So, you know, I kind of just gotta take my time and just do what I gotta do that's best for me, and not get any type of emotional tie, no feelings involved, no matter how much of a family that, you know, I think we are or I thought we were. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens.
It does, bro. It does. But again, it's trust and believe, man. It's no love lost. It's no shade thrown, bro. I still got love for my boy. You know who you are. Yeah, bro. It's like I said, it's no love lost. It's just a little bit of miscommunication. That's all. That's all.
So, do you remember your first song?
Do I? Like my first like official song?
Why'd you laugh
Go
like
look
that?
it
Was
up.
it?
Go look it up.
Nah,
Go look it up on YouTube.
she's thirsty.
Let's pull it up on
She's thirsty.
YouTube.
For real?
Man.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Just put it up
She said,
on YouTube, yeah.
That was
I
before
do
he was
remember.
Inglewood ID. He was Young Amp. What is it called? Brand New Dougie?
Yeah.
Brand
Hey,
new Dougie?
that video got like thousands of views though. Like,
Yeah, bro, I was like, with like no type of like promotion or nothing, like, and this was like before like YouTube was like really jumping, like Instagram was like even really jumping. It was just like
Yeah,
it
Instagram
was just like it was like during that Dougie era. Again, I was always making music, but it was like my first like real official song that I dedicated time to. Found my beat, had money put behind it, and all that shit. Like, yeah, it was Brand New Dougie, which was you know, brought to you by REF, by the way. Shout out Sugar Buddha. Inglewood shit, I see you, my boy. He was the one that gave me that opportunity. And we put that record together. And honestly, this record came out after Teach Me How to Dougie came out. So I was kind of bitter about it because it was like, man, I'm not trying to fucking ride that way. Like, I'm not trying to ride the Cali Swag District way. I want to do something different because they was already booming with that. You know what I mean? By the way, shout out Cali Swag District 2, RP, third RP, my nigga, boom. But yeah, so that was definitely my first record. But like she said, it took off. Like, it took off real. It was on the radio and everything. I was like, what the
For real?
fuck? Hell yeah. I
What's it
excited
under?
as shit. It's called Young Amp, Brand New Dougie.
So I gotta ask you this question, man.
What's happening?
What happened on the show? Jacob had the same thing, right? He slipped. He said that it was so loud in there that the cameras don't do it justice that he lost his beat. Try to jump back on it.
no. Oh,
This is true. Honestly,
Because honestly, if you would have kept going with that, I think everybody feels like you would have got it.
I think she know that too.
can we always
I think she knows that too. It's crazy because a lot of people ask me that question, and besides people asking me the question, a lot of people have their own perception on, you know, why I fumbled. It's like I didn't fumble because I was nervous or anything like that. Like, I was focused. The thing is, they said we had 24 hours to you know, write the verse and do all this. It really wasn't 24 hours because when they're telling us this, we're shooting this. So it's like, we gotta shoot this 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. All right, let me go get this. Then we gotta do a whole bunch of other shit before the shuttle comes and takes us even back to the hotel. So we probably on set for like another 8 hours before we even get back to the hotel. Mind you, then when we get back to the hotel, they got us, and they got cameras in our face at the hotel, like, yeah, so let's talk about, you know, the performance. Are you anticipating on the battle and everything like that? So, like, now it's 2-3 hours cut out there, so we damn near lose like 10 hours, 10, 11 hours from this 24 hours that we allegedly got to write and remember the verse on these beats that aren't, you know, my favorite or anything that I would actually rap on. So it's like,
Oh, they gave you that?
yeah, they gave us them beats. If you notice,
Okay.
that everybody had like certain beats that some of them you may hear. Some of the beats are similar, or actually the same ones. But
I thought you got to pick your beat when you went up there.
no, we didn't get to pick shit. They sent them to us, and that told us that's what we on. So it was like being kind of like under that pressure. I was so focused on remembering my last part of my verse because I changed it like 3-4 times. I was so focused on remembering the last part of my verse, I fucked up and I couldn't catch the beat on where my vocals or where my verse would have been at the time. So it was just like, fuck. And I mentally immediately got frustrated and just like, fuck it. And that was completely the wrong attitude. I should have definitely continued to go because, as you said, I for sure know, she for sure knows, the crowd for sure knows.
She was
as
already
well
in
as
the
judges.
casket
Like,
by
yeah,
the
she
time.
know. She know. And listen, if you guys watch the show, the moment I fuck up, she go crazy. She go crazy because she know, like, God damn, he was in my ass. He was like, if I finished the rest, I could finish the rest of it for you right now if you wanted to.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
I think you should.
And since we got a battle, the mood done switched up. London Bridge falling cause I blew that bitch up. Boom, you see the hunger, I'ma chew this chick up. LMA wouldn't even boo this bitch up. I pamper grammar, pan the cameras on me going nuts. Hand her planners, I didn't even want to do it. I really like Atlanta folk, but you get stuffed and sit off like an envelope. You really think you look glam as fuck, but I think you look like you standing up. Handing her the L so cameras cut. Damn, this letter's getting her show canceled, bruh. Look. Or we could ram it up. See, I knew you was a man cause your hands is rough. And your feet look like you've been kicking some cans and cups. But that's none of my business. I'm just an eyewitness to yourself. You're good, but to them, I'm better. A quarter ticket on the line, I can never let up. I told my daughter life is changing when I get this cheddar. So it's fuck where you from. It's Inglewood forever.
Oh.
It's cool. White people.
That's some dope shit.
Oh yeah, I know that whole shit.
So yeah. Cause like I said, I'm in a hotel calling her back to back, baby. How this sound? What you think it is? Like,
But you forgot.
she like, huh?
You forgot something though.
Right.
The whole situation with Vogue.
I mean, I was forgot.
Here we go.
Y'all
Here we go.
forgot about that shit too. Yeah. So right before the battle, and it's funny. Shout out to Big Mouth, bro. I really salute you for tapping in with me about that. Something happens and Big Mouth Bo just go hype on us. Like we in the middle of just like a group conversation. Big Mouth Bo and Ariana nowhere to be found. And as we just having just like communion, just talking, and they come out of nowhere like, what you say? This, and the third. And again, the cameras after post edits and all that shit, it looked like something that it really wasn't. But she say some shit and I turn my head around. I'm like, yo, we gotta knock you the fuck out. Like, who are you talking to? Like, don't get bucked. And and she start, like on my mama and this. And we ain't about none of that. All that. What's up? You feel me? And that kind of got my blood boiling at the time. Mind you, this is right before the battle, so I got that in my head and trying to think about my lyrics and shit like that. It was just like, it was pressure on me. It was a lot of pressure on me. But again, Big Mouth Bo, she ended up.
So you basically still have the adrenaline going from that situation.
I was tea kettling, boy. I was tea kettling. You ever watch them cartoons and you ever watch like Elmer Fudd get mad and you see the steam, you get red? Oh boy, I was boiling, boy, man. I'm like, boy, come on, man. And then like the little young boy, like he talking high power. I'm like, bro, you look, nigga. Oh. But again, this is I'm oblivious to what's really going on behind the scenes because Big Mouth Bo and Ariana actually tapped in, after the show aired, and I was like, my bad for all that fuckery that that went down, bro. The producers pulled me to the side and they wanted to make the show, so they just said go over there and start some shit, and I'm like, damn, bro. I feel bad for even going high power like that, bro, because it's all for television, bro, and I should have known that, bro. And they said the same thing, they should have known that. Like,
I was being a real motherfucker when some shit like that
you feel
happens.
me?
Yeah, you disrespect me. Yeah, that shit ain't cool.
So that's how I ended up fucking up with London. But shout out to London because at the end of the day, she did do her shit. She was able to bounce back. I wasn't able to bounce back. So it's definitely like, it's not like she didn't deserve what she earned. You know what I mean? She worked for what she did it. She did her shit. So shout out to London B. I fuck with you. That's my girl. She actually got a show out here on the 10th in January. I think I'm gonna be tapping in with her on that. So
out here?
Yeah, I mean out in LA.
Oh, okay.
I'm tripping. My bad.
Yeah.
I think
It's only been a couple days.
Bro.
You feel
like home, bro. I feel like I'm at home, bro. That's the point. But nah, yeah. Yeah, she got a show. She got a show out in LA on the 10th. So, I've been talking to her people. So hopefully I'm gonna get online with that. But that's still in the wraps. That's nothing for certain. But yeah, shout out to London, man. She did her shit. She did her shit. I fucked up. She won. That's it. That's all. I'm not one to make excuses or throw shade, even though she know.
But on that note of them starting shit, do you feel that the show was kind of setting dominoes up to fall a certain way to make somebody land on top?
You know what?
Here you go, damn.
Them the real ones. Them the real questions. It's funny that you say that because it's like, you know, the further the show went on, it was like certain things kind of like raised eyebrows. Again, at the end of the day, I was just a contestant on the show. It was a wonderful opportunity for me. And, you know, shout out Jesse Collins for, you know, the opportunity. I really appreciate it. But, I mean, like, again, there was some questionable things that happened after I left the show. Specifically, the whole D-Smoke with the sound wave and his brother being Sir. I'm pretty sure he gets a lot of backlash from it too. Not even backlash, but he gets a lot of comments about it. And it's like, again, I'm a contestant. I don't know. But is it iffy? Is it iffy? Like, does it look Mickey? Yes, it does. It looks extremely Mickey.
Jacob Campbell said he didn't really like, and even Mondo was saying how he didn't really like it.
Like
they had the good people going up against the good and the bad.
You know, it was
yeah.
They should have, like, for those like ciphers and shit and battles, like, it should have been more like judged off of your overall performance, because there were some people who was trash as fuck that made it through. So it's like, if you had two trash battles, they should have been gone.
Yeah.
And like, for sure, Saxon and Smoke, like, both they shit was good.
Saxon
should have advanced
that,
for sure. For sure.
I don't feel like they should have even battled.
They was looking for like an artist, a superstar like Saxon.
Saxon is fucking amazing, bro. Saxon brings something completely different, bro. Honestly, I feel like that anybody that made the top 30 deserved to be on that motherfucking show.
Oh yeah.
Cause I like
Ray.
Trust and believe. I've did my research. I've listened to everybody's music who made that top 30. Like, even some of the ones that didn't make it. Like the one that do Bad News. He went the fuck off in his audition. And T.I. even called him out. So Quavo and him called him out like he wasn't really doing what he did. And he came back and did another one. I'm like, wow, I've tapped in with his music. But like, everybody that made the top 30, they deserved to be there. I mean,
so yesterday I got to experience firsthand, like, you trying to push your music, you know, try to seize the opportunity to get your voice heard.
And all you guys were on.
Oh yeah.
You
and all you guys,
yeah, all you guys
we're all trying to
that's dope.
Yes.
And that's super dope, because those are the type of stories that, like, 10 years from now or whatever, when you make
Oh yeah, you'd be able to look back and like, man, you remember that shit?
Yeah, when you
Remember
were
how
trying to get on
didn't
stage.
want to let me get on the stage.
God,
Yeah.
God, yeah. We talk about that all the time. We talk about that all the time, and it's funny because it's like that conversation doesn't necessarily have to happen 10 years from now, or 5 years from now, because I literally had that conversation about a week ago, because 2 years ago I wasn't doing this, you know what I mean? I wasn't in the position that I was at now. So it's like, that story never stops. It's always going to continue to recreate itself, and it's always going to get bigger and better. But that's only depending on how hard I work or how hard, the individual works, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Real shit.
So, can you go a little deeper on that though? Like, on a daily basis, keeping like a job and everything. What do you do, like, to push your music out?
So,
because right now, like, depending on the amount of followers you got, you can push that out to everybody, and then hopefully they like it enough to share it to people and continue to grow. So you gotta be doing that constantly, right?
Which they do. The fans tap in, and they definitely support, repost, stream. They do all that. And I want to get it out as much more, far much more, as much as I can. But it's like, to do that, I gotta be able to fund that. And how I fund that is basically, I am a product manager for a cultivation and distribution of marijuana company located in downtown Los Angeles. So with that money, I kind of like, I take care of the family and make sure, the household is taken care of first, but anything else should kind of go straight to the music, you know what I mean? Whether it be wardrobe for photo shoots, studio time. I'm good.
Good?
Yeah. Like I said, whether that be money for photo shoots, wardrobe for photo shoots, studio time, video shoots, paying for venues, or travel expenses. Sometimes not a lot of people aren't as generous as you to even pay for my airfare, my hotels and shit like that. So depending on how bad I want it, fuck it, man. I pay for it all myself. Because, depending on what the situation is. So it's definitely a grind, bro, to even consistently make the music, having a wife and 2 kids and a household to try to maintain. Going to work literally fucking 5-6 days a fucking week to fucking 9-10 hour days sometimes. Like, it's difficult. It's difficult, and it's like everybody knows if you want something bad enough, you're gonna do what you gotta do for it. So it's like it's some nights that it's just like, yo, I can't sleep. Yo. I stay up and write these records, and how I operate is like, I'm not just gonna go to the studio because I wrote one song, you feel me? Now I'm gonna sit and create like 4 or 5, 6 songs, have like 2 features on deck that I could just knock verses out for it. Then it's like now I got a 12-hour session booked. I got work to do. I could possibly, depending on how I work fast as fuck, depending on how much work I can create and whatever time I got, I could possibly put out a mixtape, or I could record a mixtape on a fucking day. I could record a full fucking mixtape in a fucking day, but again, it's like, it's taking that dedication, taking that time out. Sometimes I be beating myself up, like I be in the car till like 2 in the morning writing records, but with my daughter, she'd probably be on vacation or in the house just doing whatever, wide awake, like by herself.
Is it easier now to create content since your exposure? Now motherfuckers is getting at you left and right?
Yeah, honestly, it's a lot easier to create content, not necessarily because of this exposure, but because of the exposure, I'm able to do different shit, which creates more content, if that makes sense. Like, I've never been to fucking Denver.
Yeah.
I've got shit. Y'all gave me a lot of shit to rap about.
Yeah.
You feel me? Y'all gave me a lot of shit to rap about. You feel me? So it's like, with the exposure that I'm getting, it's creating opportunities like this for me to create more content. You know what I mean? It's like, because I feel like every artist, when you first break out, it's like, most like your first album, your first project is, or your first few projects is really the fans getting to know you, getting to know who you are before, the glitz and the glam and all of that shit. But it's like, nigga, once you kind of get that platform, it's like you run out of shit to talk about. So you gotta do different shit to create new content. So it's like, this is different for me. And it's gonna be different for my listeners because they ain't never heard me rap about anything that I ain't never did before.
Yeah.
You feel me? So it's like, yeah.
That's hell of it, man.
Yeah, man. I like to view myself as a different artist. A lot of people ask, like, the typical question is, what separates you from every other artist? And it's like, I personally feel like the only thing that separates me from every other artist is wanting to be relatable. And not necessarily relatable to everyone, but necessarily relatable to those who, how can I say it?
Like you.
I guess like me, like not necessarily even like me, just like who've been through what I've been through, or who grew up how I grew up. Like, I'm like not right now. I am not rich. My hunger, everything that I'm doing to get rich is like, I'm not doing it to get rich. I'm doing it because I love it. So it's like, I'm doing it like this. It's like, this all this shit don't mean shit. It's like, this shit is, people think this shit is not expensive. This is from H&M. This was $14. You feel me? These is $24 jeans. And it's like, as an artist, I like to make myself relatable in all ways, and not just musically. From the way that I dress, it's like, I don't necessarily have to be wearing Gucci shoes every time you see me out. I don't, to even be fly. It's like, yo, I can't rap about Gucci shoes and have my listeners be like, yeah, I feel that, because you don't have on Gucci shoes.
Right.
You could probably go afford some Air Max though, and I could rap about busting that. You could afford some Timbs, and you could go buy these. It's not no $600 pair of shoes. You know what I mean? You can go do this. The average person can do this. The average person can wear fucking Stussy or, you know, whatever you can go buy in the mall. You don't have to go to these designer boutiques to get this shit. I want to be relatable as possible, from my music to what I wear to the way I live. Like, I have no desire, if I had millions and billions of dollars, to like honestly like just like leave and just like, let me get this fly ass mansion. Like, I have no problem buying the house that my parents live in right now and to let them go live what they want to dream and owning that crib, and just me and my family be low key and just chilling. You feel me? Like, I have no problem with that. And it's like, I feel like that's what separates me from a lot of artists. It's like a lot of artists do it because they either haven't had money, you know what I mean? They don't know, they haven't had anything, so they want to have something to be able to give back, or, you know, to do something for themselves. And it's like, I didn't necessarily grow up like that. I didn't grow up like not having nothing. My mom and dad, they worked, like, so like they made sure like you was cool. You're not gonna grow up in no fucked up neighborhood or nothing. Like, so it's like, I don't know what that life is like to be like, yeah, bro, I ain't never had nothing, so let me get money and just like go crazy. It's like, nah, I know what it's like to have shit. It's like, and I also know what it's like to work for shit.
They wanna see what I got. They wanna see if I can be what I'm not. And nigga, please, I see you reach, you want a piece of the pot. That ain't your flavor, nigga. It's something you can't say, but nigga, that was Jacob.
What?
That's Jacob.
What are we doing? Just putting by?
Let's make it a movie.
Let me get my drink back.
I don't even work here anymore.
Boy!
He's living on the fucking
Boy! Hey, you see it, man. Hey, man, when you see it, we live.
What
right
up,
now,
Jake?
bro. You see who we tapped in with? You see who we tapped in with? Hey, man, what's up, bro? You live on camera right now, buddy, Yodi.
Uncut.
You coming out tonight?
What's up? You coming to fuck with us or what?
Yeah, I just got my fucking brakes finished.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, man? Pull up. Where you at?
You said we going to native tonight?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it. What time we going over there?
Man, pull up right now.
Come to the shop, bro.
Alright, I gotta handle one thing and then yeah, I'll probably slide that way.
How long before you get here? Cause we finna go. We got dinner reservations, but I want you to come to dinner with us.
Oh shit, where y'all got dinner at? I might just meet y'all there because the shop kinda far.
Downtown. Fogo de Chao.
Fogo de Chao downtown.
Where?
It's downtown. Fogo de Chao.
What time?
We got reservations
7:30.
7:30.
In an hour.
Alright, bet, yeah. I'll meet y'all there then.
All right, bet.
Yes, sir.
Easy call. Hey, tap in, baby. We finna turn the fuck up tonight, bro. You already know what's up, man. Hey, bro. If this boy didn't show me a good time, if Mondo didn't show me a good time, boy. Look, check it out. What's up, man? We going up tonight, my nigga. You going up tonight, my nigga. What's up? And you know my get down, Jake. Stop playing. Come on, man. Hey, man, what's up, man?
$14.99 H&M.
Hey, tell him I said $14.99 H&M. That's that pretty $14.99 H&M, man. You can go bust it down yourself. You feel me? You ain't gotta buy a bag of weed for this motherfucker, man.